Welcome to today's webinar, Making the Leap, where we're going to share 5 key steps if you are thinking about becoming a franchisee or owning a franchise. Before we jump in, I wanted to tell you a little bit about Franchise Business Review. Our founder, Eric Stites, started FBR about 20 years ago. And the idea was we really wanted to understand which were the best opportunities available for people looking to become a franchise owner in a brand. Since then, we've worked with over 1,300 franchise systems. About 350 to 375 brands on an annual basis use Franchise Business Review to collect feedback from their franchise owners. Typically, we see around 30,000 responses or 30,000 franchisees complete these surveys each year. The idea is getting their perspective on what it's like to be a franchise owner and be in the business is the best way for you to understand if it's a good opportunity for you. We here at Franchise Business Review are very pro-franchising, but it's not a silver bullet. It's hard work. And what we're trying to do is help you find brands that are focused on having successful outcomes for their franchisees along with their overall brand. It's a simpler but not easier path to business ownership. We're here to help set realistic expectations of what it will look like to run the business and be successful in the brand. Here's our flow for today. We're going to take you through the 5 steps of exploring, educating yourself, researching, planning, and then deciding if franchise ownership is the right choice for you. So let's jump in to explore. It's really important that you start with your why. Why are you interested in franchising? Are you looking to get away from working for others, being an employee? Were you laid off? Are you hoping for more flexibility in your lifestyle? These are all reasons to consider franchising as your next opportunity. If you're trying to look for your why and you can't really get there by yourself, we really encourage you to involve your family. Even if they're not going to be involved in running the day-to-day business, you can ask them what they think your strengths and weaknesses are. You can ask friends, you can ask past colleagues, but get an idea from them what they think you're really good at, where you might find joy, to try and help you get to that why you're looking at a franchise. As you explore franchising as an opportunity, it's really important to note that there's a lot of diversity in the types of franchise businesses that you can own and operate. I think it's really common for a lot of people to think about food. We see McDonald's, we see Burger King, but there is probably a franchise in every segment of business that's out there. What I want to do is just share the kind of variety of brands that we're looking for to give you a sense of our data is compiled from small brands, large brands, food brands, service brands. We cover it all. Franchisors usually don't need someone that has experience in that industry, except for food. I will note a lot of food brands want you to be or have an operator that has been in business as a food manager, business owner on their own. It's very complex for a business model, and that makes sense that you might want to have more of that experience before jumping into a food franchise. But other than that, most franchisors want to teach you their way of doing business, of delivering that product and service to your customer. So it doesn't have to be something that you're passionate about doing the service. In most cases, you're probably hiring people to deliver your product or service to your customer. So you want to look at the business structure itself. And does that bring you joy? And does that bring you passion for something that you might want to start and grow? It's important for you to love the brand itself, but don't limit yourself to what you know how to do today. Our website is a great place to start this exploration by looking at some of the brands that we have available on the site. We give you options to look at it by segments of franchising. We also give you options to look at it by investment level. You can go to those lists, and if the company is sharing their data publicly, you can even visit the company page to see their report and get a sense of what their franchise owners are saying about them. If the brand is on our site and doesn't have a report, they are still an award winner. What that means is that their franchisees have rated all the areas that we ask about, including training and support, marketing, financial opportunity. They have done the work, And they have received an award because they are one of the top 200 brands that have scored the best out of all the research we've done that year. So it's a great place to start as you just start exploring what kind of opportunities are out there and what you might see yourself in the future. We're going to go to our second step of educate. There are tons of online resources that we want to share with you. FranchiseBusinessReview.com, that's our site that we have built to share some of the information from brands that we're working with. Franchise.org is the website for the International Franchise Association. Seeing if the brand is involved in the industry could be a good signal for you that they're engaged in what's happening in Washington, D.C., what could be impacting that brand or your business in the future. Other organizations that we recommend, FranchiseTimes.com, they put out a printed and a digital magazine that talks about things happening in the franchise space. Franchising.com, they have multi-unit franchise magazine. And SBA, always a great place to look at business guides, and they have a great learning center. When you engage with franchise brands, they will also have education for you as well to learn more about franchising, their specific industry, or their brand. What we want to do is share with you the types of things that we have on our site. Articles and insights. We have our guides, which that gives you the overall top 200, but then we look at it by different segments. We do content around best franchises to own as a woman, best franchise opportunities for veterans, low-cost opportunities. Any of those guides will give you a sense of those brands that have performed really well on the questions that we ask of franchise owners. We also have franchisee profiles. These are stories from existing franchise owners talking about what it's like to run their business or how they found their brand. We have tips and advice, webinars, and our Franchise Academy. I also want to recommend 2 books out there that I think are really great to add to your education list. The Wealthy Franchisee was written by Scott Greenberg, who was a franchisee of the Edible Arrangement System for 10 years. He has this book, and he has another one that's called Stop the Shift Show, which is about the challenges of franchisee ownership and managing, hiring, recruiting, retaining teams. Both are must-reads if you do end up moving into the franchise space. The other book is The Educated Franchisee by Rick Bizio. He previously worked internally at franchise brands to help them grow, and he's now a broker, which is someone that works with franchise candidates to help them find the right fit for them. Both are great books to add to your list. And next, you don't need to be an accountant, but you do need to know how cash moves through a business. It's important for you to understand how to read financials, how to read an income statement, how to read a balance sheet. When you will break even is an important metric that you should look at when you're forecasting what you can do in a franchise with their business. If this seems overwhelming to you, there's tons of resources that can help you learn and understand this. Local community colleges usually have classes available either in person or online. Khan Academy has a lot of free resources. Skillshare, I think that they have a fee to join them, but they have some basic small business resources that can really be helpful. There's other in-person opportunities with SCORE chapters where you'll have a person that's helping you work through these as well. Think about it like this. When you buy a car, there's an initial cost to buy that car, but then you have to pay for tune-ups, gas. You have to reinvest over time into that car to make sure that it works for you and lasts a long time. Translating that to a business, how often do you have to buy new equipment? When was the last refresh that was done of a physical location in the franchise system? Looking at what you can do for improvements in the business, knowing what's been done can help you forecast for additional dollars you might have to invest into that business if you join that brand. The next phase that we want to take you through is research. It's now time to dig in and understand the companies that you're interested in. Your search usually starts very broad, and then you'll usually narrow it down to 2 or 3 that you want to engage directly with those brands. How do you narrow it down? First, we talked about defining your why. You need to figure out what those non-negotiables you have. One of those is usually your budget. What's the investment range that you have available to invest in a business? Other things to consider, do you want to be an owner-operator, which means you are in the business day-to-day, providing the service or offering the product to your customers? Or do you want to be more hands-off? This is where I'm going to stop and issue a warning. There's a lot of people out there that will advertise absentee franchise ownership. semi-absentee ownership, you will be an owner-operator at least to start. It's not realistic to think that you can scale a business when you're not in it and giving it your full attention. Do not believe anyone that is selling you a pipe dream of not being involved from day one. Other things to consider: industries that you're passionate about. Then think about your lifestyle. Do you want a weekday only hours to that business? Do you want something seasonal? Do you want something that you can start part-time and then scale and grow into a full-time commitment to the business? The next is your location. If this is a physical franchise, do they have territory in your market? Make a list of at least 5 non-negotiables, must-haves, and deal breakers. Then you can hit the internet to start doing your due diligence. Once you narrow it down, it's definitely time to talk to franchisees. This probably will not happen, or it will not be easy if you're not engaged directly with the brand. Most franchise systems have structure in place that they are taking you through their process, and they connect you with franchise owners when it's time. Franchisees are the number one resource when you join the brand. Your franchisee community is a network of people running the same business as you. What are the successful ones in the system doing that you can learn from? What skills do they think you need to be successful? You can hire to support your weak areas, but knowing that you will not always be a jack of all trades, it's good to see what they think is important to run that business and think about how you'll scale that with other people to fill in those weak areas. The franchise development team will probably share with you what initial training and support looks like. Ask the franchisees if that's what it looked like from what was promised to what actually happened. It's also important to note they might be helpful in trying to connect you with specific franchisees that you might have things in common with, but they should give you access to all franchisees. It's great to have some of those people that are in common, but you want to really get a good picture. Try and find those people that are not performing well or not happy with the system to understand, are they a small part of that community, or is it really overwhelming that franchisees do not feel like they have a positive relationship with their franchisor? The next thing to know is that there is a honkin' document. It's called the FDD, or the Franchise Disclosure Document. This is a large document that has to be given to you before you sign on to join the system. You will be signing a franchise agreement typically for 5 to 10 years. So you want to make sure you're doing as much work as you can up front to understand what you're getting yourself into. This document is one of the best ways to do that. It's typically 200 to 300 pages long, and there's 23 standard items in that FDD. We have a blog post on our site titled "The Most Important Items in a Franchise Disclosure Document." We can link to it in our notes, but it's really worth checking out. Items 5, 6, and 7 in the FDD address initial investment fees. This includes your franchise fee, that initial franchise fee, any tech fees, training fees, royalties, which are ongoing, and any renewal fees. These are your reoccurring expenses. Another item that we like to point out is item 19. This is a financial performance representation. It is not required to be included in the document that you're looking at. But if it is, it could include earnings claims, revenue potential, and profitability estimates. Every item 19 is different. It's important for you to know what you're looking at. Some franchisors will report the financials or share their financials of all their locations. Some will just include corporate locations and not franchised. Some will show top performers or average performers. It's just really important that you know that when you're comparing item 19s from different brands, they won't all look the same. An attorney is a great resource for you to help you review all of that and come up with questions that you have for the team once you've gone through it. The item 20 has all the franchisees, current and past. When we talked about talking to franchisees, this is your list you want to use. It can be a lot of work to reach out and talk to everyone. That's why you can start with Franchise Business Review, where we share the overall look at franchisees' feedback. Some franchisors, some brands that have that report with us will share the more detailed link with you once you get further into the process, where you can actually read each individual review that the franchisee has completed. We really, really recommend a franchise attorney, not just any attorney, but someone that knows franchising. We have several here that we can recommend to you. If you don't know someone in franchising, please reach out to us. The other recommendation that we make is a personal accountant. So making sure you have that as well available to you as you are doing your research. The other thing as you're doing your research that we think it's really important is think about buying a franchise like when you go to get a mortgage to purchase a house. It's better to know what you can afford early in the process. Don't wait till you've picked a brand and set your heart on it. Go to the bank first and figure out how are you going to fund this and what kind of money do you really have to work with. On our site, you'll find our free finance calculator where you can learn how much you can qualify for and even connect with funders to help you understand that in more detail. Now we're moving on to the planning stage. Typically, you do not need to have the total investment. Most opportunities are looking for you to have 25 to 30% down when you talk to lenders. You also want to make sure that you have operating capital. The worst thing to happen would be for you to make this decision, and if you're underfunded, have to close because you've run out of cash options. There's also really great opportunities for you to borrow from your 401k and IRA. There's no penalties, you're borrowing from yourself. These are the kind of questions you want to talk with as you're trying to figure out what you can actually afford. A franchising accountant can also help you better understand the financials of what you're looking at. When you think about how you're trying to figure out projections of what you're going to be able to do in this business, try and figure out that most likely scenario. You want to also look at your worst case scenario. Tons of businesses fail because they run out of money. You want to understand what break even looks like, what an average sales looks like for franchisees. Banks love to give you that initial money to get the deal done, but it can be really a lot harder to go back if you need more money. So think about getting more money than you need for the actual investment so that it's there for you as a cushion. You don't want to be trying to make payroll, have no cash, chasing money. It's really good to have that backup plan just in case. This will give you a longer runway to hit that break even. Franchise development teams and brands can share initial investments. They can't disclose anything else to you financially unless it's reported in that FDD. You really need to think about covering all of your expenses until your sales are coming in. Businesses always lose money in the beginning. So really being prepared for that can help you guarantee a better outcome of success. And again, talk to the franchisees. Ask them how long did it take for them to break even? Or did they hit break even when they thought they would? This can help you as you're working on building out a business plan to understand what it really looks like. And we have a resource to help. FBR's Life Plan stands for liabilities, income, financial wealth, and equity. This is all about ROI. How much can you take out of the business? What does the value of the business look like when you exit? Confirm this with franchisees once you build your projections out. Connect with franchisees that have recently sold. Again, they're listed in that FDD. Franchise accountants can review your projections and let you know if they feel like you're being realistic or optimistic. Life changes, but having this will help you prepare for the best outcome that you want to see in that business. You can get this on our website in the free financing resources, and it'll be a template that you can use to get started. And now we're at the decide stage. Franchising is such a great opportunity, but it is definitely not the right fit for all. If you've decided you're not cut out for it, excellent. We've done our job here, scaring you out of it. You figured it out that business ownership is not for you, or you haven't found the right brand yet. Typically, the candidates that we talk to, they say that they do their research in about a 3 to 6 month time frame. Sometimes, though, that research can take up to a year or longer. Don't be pressured by any brokers or franchise development representatives that might be trying to hard sell you. They could tell you that the territory is going up for grabs. Someone else is interested. They should be asking you as much about you to make sure that you're a fit for their brand as you are doing your research on them to understand that they're a right fit for you. It's really important that you're passionate about the brand, excited about the company, their team, their services and products, because that's what will get you through very long days in the beginning of starting your business. Being able to connect with that team for support and other franchisees in your system is really, really something valuable to you as you are going into this business on your own. And these are our tips for you. The franchise agreement that you have to sign is usually non-negotiable. It's the same for everyone, and that is to protect the brand standard. You don't want people negotiating things that are in there. You will notice in these agreements that the power seems to go to the franchisor, and it's all about protecting that brand. Have a franchise attorney explain it all to you, and we cannot recommend enough talking to franchise owners. We hope that this has been a good start for you as you consider franchise ownership. Franchise Business Review is here to be a resource for you, and we hope that you will reach out to us along your journey of considering franchise ownership. Make sure to check out our podcast, From Aid to Franchisee, where we talk to industry experts and franchisees to help you get a better understanding of just what you're getting yourself into. Thanks for checking out our webinar. We look forward to connecting with you in the future.